It's that RV12 dude back here again, post Oshkosh 2022. We're going to get right to it and start with this year's RV12 paint review. Well, I thought we would begin our tour here at the Teen Build and Fly section, just north of Boeing Plaza at Oshkosh. Eagle's Nest 1, I believe, is a familiar face. I think he was here last year. It's owned by the Malcolm family of North Vernon, Indiana. That, as you can imagine, is part of Jennings County. This aircraft, after 10 years, still has a pretty decent paint scheme going on here. Still nice and shiny. Although it's a simple paint scheme, don't underestimate the time involved to do all of the prep work and spray the primer and do everything you need to do. One of the benefits to this type of scheme is that if you have any sort of hanger rash or scrapes on the wheel pants, it's pretty easy to clean up and re-spray the paint and the clear coat. And that is November 901 Echo November. And here is November 926 EN. This is another Eagle's Nest project. This is a newer aircraft. The airworthiness date isn't listed, but the registration is March of 2022. Oh boy, look at this, the turtle deck. So there's two halves to the turtle deck there. There's two skins to it. And somebody, not naming names here, scuffed up the wrong side of both of them. It happens, but it's not really a big deal. Once the paint shop gets a hold of this plane, that will disappear. Overall, this looks like a really good build. It's still owned by the Eagle's Nest Projects. Hasn't been sold yet. And it looks like we have the sky view system inside. Nice interior. Nice exterior. Overall, a really good build, especially for a teen project. And this one's extra special because the serial number is 121212. Next up, we have 107 Tango Foxtrot. This is a teen flight build owned by Airway Science for Kids, Inc. out of the Portland area. Airway Science for Kids was founded as a nonprofit in 1992 by retired Air Force engineer Bob Strickland. After 22 years in the Air Force and 13 years as an auditor with the state of Texas, and still in his 50s, he decided that spending the rest of his life golfing and fishing was not for him. Bob assigned himself a mission, fill in the gaps in learning for kids who needed help. He sketched out his plan. It was a simple vision, really. Teach at-risk boys and girls to fly airplanes via a computer simulator, thus tricking them into learning math and science, reading, and study skills. Bob was the founder, executive director, and the primary fundraiser for the program from its founding in 1992 until he passed away in 2008. And this is November 107 Tango Foxtrot. And here is another similar build of the same quality, November 18 Hotel. This is owned by the Kettle Moraine Youth Aviation Inc. KMYA is a program for high school students to construct, maintain, and fly RV12 IS aircraft. KMYA is open to all high school age students, 12 to 15, and they are chosen through an application process and an interview process throughout the summer. After the full walk around of this aircraft, I really don't see any blemishes at all. Pretty smooth fiberglass here, I have to add too. And this is November 18 Hotel. Very good build. And here we have November 922 EN. This was another high school build, finished in 2019. This aircraft is now based out of the Poly Ranch Airport down in Texas. Has a rather more modern paint scheme with some sharp edges, some vector graphics. I believe this aircraft also appeared last year at Oshkosh 2021. I love this RV12 IS decal down here. I might even add that to my own plane. And to be honest, not a blemish to be found on this paint job here. One of the two center stage paint schemes here in the teen build area. And that is November 922 Echo November. And here we have November 935 Whiskey Tango. Whiskey Tango is a 2018 build and currently owned by the Spirit of Meriden Flight Club down in Glastonbury, Connecticut. That indeed was a long trip to Oshkosh. This flight club offers equity shares, 10 partners at $6,500 buy-in, a monthly fee of $143, and an hourly fee of $13, not including fuel. So if you're wondering about the operating costs of the RV12, that should give you some idea. As you'll notice as I'm walking around this aircraft, the paint scheme that you see here is an offshoot of the updated factory paint scheme that we'll be reviewing in a moment here. After a few years, this paint looks pristine. No blemishes, no scratches I could see. A really nice, brilliant sheen to it. And that is November 935 Whiskey Tango. And here at the Airbus booth, we have November 266 Tango Foxtrot. Tango Foxtrot was completed in 2018 and is still owned by Tango Flight Inc. out of Georgetown, Texas. Airbus is a supporter of Tango Flight, and that's why it's at their booth. And if you look at the paint scheme here, just based on the lines, I want to say it's designed by the scheme designers out here in New Jersey. There's some certain lines and curves that they use that tells me it's from scheme designers. I could be wrong. Overall, after 4 years, the paint scheme is still in good shape. I love these tennis balls here. Nice clear coat. More tennis balls and some tape over the stall warning vane. And this is November 266 Tango Foxtrot. A couple key things here to notice on the factory demonstrator. There are some runs on this left wing in the leading edge, so even the professionals sometimes have issues with painting. Nice PPG with metallic additive to it. The factory says that the PPG metallic does not interfere with the GPS, which is under the cowl. You see similar lines here to a previous teen build that you saw. I love that RV12 IS logo on the back. I'll tell you, I think that metallic additive really keeps the paint looking new.
I fly an RV9A with my wife on a daily basis.
I believe this is now the only RV12 factory demonstrator, 912 Victor Alpha. Now this really is a treat here. This is November 26 Juliet Whiskey, owned by Jeffrey Wright out of Charlotte. Now approaching this aircraft, I could have sworn that this was a paint job like any other. But the vinyl over these pop rivets give it away. This actually is a vinyl wrap.
Oh, it is.
And as I'm looking at it, it looks like it's not paint, it's actually a vinyl overlay. Which is the first one I've seen here so far for a 12. I'll tell you, if you're standing back from this aircraft 5 or 10 feet, you can't tell the difference between vinyl and paint. That's how good this vinyl looks. Now, unfortunately, as I later found out, this aircraft was caught in the storm on Saturday at Oshkosh. That happened to me too. The exact same thing happened to me. The exact same. It may as well be a duplicate of my old rudder. The creases in the rudder were exactly the same. So the good news is that hopefully he has some extra vinyl left over, and he could buy himself a new rotor skin and an extra stub spar to put on that skeleton. And he should be back in business with maybe $150 worth of materials. I have to say, I do like that look of the rivets that are covered over. I never really liked the look of painted pop rivets. And a really good job on these louver vents here. I was interested to see how well that actually wrapped around those holes. Really good build. I don't see anything at all wrong with this build. This is almost mint. Here is November 829 Bravo Mike. Bravo Mike was manufactured in 2015, making it a 7-year-old aircraft. I'm not sure exactly when the paint job was done, but it's still in really good shape. The red, white, and gold is a pretty nifty color combination there. It's owned by B&M Aviation. I believe Brian is out of the Orlando area. This has the standard 912 ULS engine. This is the RV12 Classic or Legacy. Paint really is holding up good for 7 years old. Almost reminds me of one of the original RV12 paint schemes with the red and the white. Even the wheel pants, not really a scratch to be seen. I love that he put the no step decal on the wing. I've already had a couple passengers step farther out than they should have on that wing. And that was November 829 Bravo Mike. We're looking at November 781 Echo Romeo. And I may have misspoke earlier. This is the aircraft with the upgraded static port. This is a little bit different than the last paint scheme. This is red, white, and gray. This is a 2016 completed kit owned by Stephen Isaacs out of Statesville, North Carolina. Very nice angles on that canopy arm. And a little extra tidbit here. These are the knots to you wheel pant fairings, or intersection fairings. They have two kits, one kit for the wheels and another kit for the step. It would be interesting to see how many knots you actually gain from these intersection fairings. They're not too expensive. I believe it's about $200 for the whole set.
$351.
So it might be something that you want to look into. That was November 781 Echo Romeo. And here we have November 351 Delta Hotel. This aircraft was finished in 2012, making it a 10-year-old aircraft. This is a Legacy RV12 with a metallic maroon colored paint. And apparently this metallic does not affect the GPS antenna under that cowl. This aircraft is owned by Blake Carlson out of Crookstown, Minnesota. So hopefully that was a short trip to Oshkosh. November 351 Delta Hotel. And another one of my personal favorites here. This is November 913 Bravo Charlie. This aircraft is out of Hackettstown, New Jersey, and owned by Brent Connolly. This is the oldest aircraft out of the batch so far, manufactured in 2013, making it 11 years old. It has a red, white, and blue Canadian-American sort of paint scheme going on. The wings, all of the paint on the wings and the wheel pants are still in great shape. I still love this wing walk compound. It's colored the same blue as the wings. So, holding up really good, November 913 Bravo Charlie. Last but not least, we come up with November 418 Mike Juliet. This paint scheme looks like it's based off of the factory paint scheme, just different colors. You have the blue, orange, white, and black. Almost reminds me of like the New York Mets with the blue and the orange there. This aircraft was finished in 2018, making it a 4-year-old aircraft. Mark Johnson is out of Liberty Township, Ohio. As I walk around the plane here, the paint looks like it's in great shape. Clear coat, great shape. The white wings, white belly, and white wheel pants should make this a really easy paint scheme to touch up down the road once a little hanger rash or wheel pant scraping happens, which is almost inevitable. And unfortunately, this is going to bring our RV12 paint review to an abrupt conclusion. I felt like last year Oshkosh had some more RV12s on the field. I did the review on Wednesday morning, and last year I think it was on Tuesday. But in any case, that is November 418 Mike Juliet.